Joe with a list of sort of definitional questions. I'd like to add one, which is what do we mean by parent engagement and who's doing the engaging? So you framed it as the school doing the engaging with parents, with families. Our work in the department at the moment is thinking of the parent first, engaging with their child's learning, and then what the school can do, what other services can do to support the parents to be engaging in ways that do have an impact on learning and other outcomes.
That's a good point.
But then you should start before they go to school. Sorry, no, I was just saying.
Then you should really start, and that's because where we should start is after they're born, or even before they're born. I think that's
It's where it should start.
We've got a question over here while you're waiting, if you like. Got a question here while you're waiting.
Yeah, thanks, Joe. Paul King of Glenmore Secondary College. How much of your work is done in primary schools compared to secondary schools?
Yeah, that's a good question. So, I'll answer. I'm very good at not answering a question, so I'll give you the answer and say that most of the research literature is actually about the primary school level. And I think that, and I'll answer the question to say, my own dissertation research and some subsequent research has been on the middle school level, looking at the principalship and their attempts to engage families. High schools are a whole different ball of wax. They're very distinct, not simply because parental engagement and involvement are going to look different. It's very unlikely that an adolescent is going to be happy to see their parent walking through the door of a school. But also because of the complexity of the organization. I mean, sociologists caricature sort of educators' identities at the primary school is a primary school teacher teaches children, a secondary school teacher teaches a subject, right? So how teachers take their definition of what their job is different in those two institutions, so they look very different. My own research has mostly been on primary schools. There are more of them. And in some ways it's easier to understand. But I do think that the secondary school raises particular questions that are just as important about the connection between home and school and subsequently the labor market or post-secondary outcomes. So the extent of the secondary research that I have done has been around what Americans call tracking and Canadians call screening. Which is the way that curricular decisions provide students with divergent paths towards a post-secondary destination. And that those lower status paths correspond to socio and economic demographic patterns that are observable. So that's the extent of what I've done. Thank you.
Hi Joe, I'm interested in your reflection on the work of Robinson and Harris at the moment and their message about the importance of what parents are doing in the home domain and whose role is that to be building that capacity. What do you think about the role of a parent body developing a parent-to-parent message about what's important in the home domain? And I think there's a great potential there.
Yeah, I agree with you with that. It seems far less paternalistic than an approach from a policymaker saying, why your kid's not doing well in school is because you didn't do enough of this in your house. There are generic takeaways about reading to your child that seem to be true across socioeconomic categories or groups. That's, I wouldn't be against a recommendation that all parents try to do some literacy building with their own, or talk a lot in front of their kids. I wouldn't be against that. But I do think it makes a difference who is doing, sort of as the first question said, who is doing this engagement or involvement, and how it gets talked about, and who are the target parents for this conversation. I think that also
a way of being rather than a programmed approach that's really interesting in this whole area of parental involvement, engagement, participation, whatever you want to call it. And I would hope that your research, which sounds really interesting, looks to regional areas. I'm from Victoria and I've worked in regional Victoria. And there's an abundance of examples in regional schools, both primary and secondary, very big secondary schools as well, where I think if you ask them, are you doing parental engagement, they'd say, oh no, but it just happens as naturally as breathing. And I think there's a lot to be learned from those examples, that the tennis club uses the school to meet, and they use the photocopier in the bursary in the school, also does the books for the cricket because her husband plays there and he happens to be a teacher over there. It's just a way of being, and I think there's lots of learning to come from looking at those models as well.
I appreciate that because Canada is a mammoth, enormous land mass, and rural education is actually going to experience this question of parental engagement quite differently than there's a school in Toronto that has 2,000 kindergarten kids in it. It's only kindergarten kids. So, I mean, it's a very different kind of scenario to talk about parental engagement.
Hi, I'm Rachel Salida from Practically Learning. I just wanted to elaborate on the setting the stage in the home, and just to ask your opinion on how important that is as part of parent engagement, and that there is often the assumption that parents know what to do in the home and how to support learning, and how to encourage that as part of parent engagement in schools.
I guess, my skepticism about their findings has less to do with the idea of, we all do better when we get a hand, right? We all do better when somebody is helping us understand how to do things better. That's not a bad thing. My skepticism of their findings is, it's similar to my skepticism of research that will tell us that the social determinants for learning outpace what happens inside schools. Because I worry with findings like the ones that I quoted from Robinson and whatever her name is, that it gives educators or other people involved in the school system permission to sit on their hands. Or permission to say, well, we're actually doing okay. And I'm a real school-based person, which the first question pointed out. It's true. I am very much thinking at the school level. We require all kids to go to school. It would be nice if their time while there wasn't crappy. So I think that one of the ways to make it better, excuse my language, would be, to actually establish more productive relationships with the family. And that would be where, in a limited span of influence, I would want to direct my emphasis as a policymaker rather than dictates about what should happen in the home. It's not that I don't think what happens in the home matters, of course it does. But if I'm thinking from the realm of educational policy, and I think, that's my perspective, is that we start with those institutions. That doesn't mean I'm a no excuses person who thinks that the social determinants of education don't make any difference. Of course they do. But it just means that if we have to think about a limited number of tools that we have to make a change, I would be focusing on what's happening, within the educational system itself.
Mine's more a conversation that I'd like to continue based on what you were saying. I think one, we know how hard it is to evaluate what we do in school. Mary Murphy, primary school, New South Wales. Because we do so many things, so I think it's really hard to evaluate if there was a parent involvement or parent engagement component. And because I want to use good practice and I evaluate everything else, I want to evaluate what we do with families. And so the sort of discussion we've started in my school around what we should do and talking to staff is around the range of programs we run for parents, do they suit, how we manage communication, and the degree of interest from staff. And so we started with something, but then that asked a whole series of other questions. And I don't know whether you follow up on all this tomorrow or not, but I'd like...
All of it. I'm going to cover all of it.
Okay. I'm glad I brought it up in that case.
Do you want to wait till tomorrow, or do I...
No, I'm actually, I think that I'm always encouraged to hear when schools are actually investing the time to assess what they're up to, because I'm not sure that that's common. I'm not sure that that's typical. I think that what is more typical is a kind of treadmill perspective of, okay, we've got a couple more weeks until this vacation. And I'm not, the hardest job I ever had was as a grade 6 teacher. I have enormous respect for that work. That's not my point. But my point is that doing the kind of nuanced, fine-grained, relationship-building work, and then studying whether or not it made any difference, that takes a lot of time. And time in an educator's day is a pie. A slice that I give to this project is a slice I can't give to something else. So thinking about how I'm going to do, that piece that I'm going to give to that project, I'm in favor of that, but there's a piece not going to something else. Maybe it's not running a course university or something. I don't know.
Or integrated. Or where's a matrix sort of thing here where that's I think what I was trying to say when I said it's a way of being. I feel very nervous when I think we're taking on another program. I think it's about a cultural shift that we're really talking here that will make a difference.
But
So the
yeah.
kids' days aren't crappy.
Right. I agree with you, but I think that the interventions or the programs and do they suit was her first thing, but the next thing was communication. That's in a program. That's part of the way of being. And assessing whether or not it's worthwhile, that does take time.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's, even in ways of being, there's systematic ways to have to study whether or not it's making a difference. But I agree with you, it's not just, because if you go just to the program route, you're going to end up with a checklist.
And we've done it years and years and years. Like, I'm old now. And I've seen so many of
Not
them.
true.
Okay, Ian.
Thanks, Joe. I wanted to stand for this because I didn't want to see you being the only person in the room standing up there creaky. I want to get creaky now. You said before that when people say things, you ask, well, where's the hard evidence of that?
Sure.
And one of the things that I'm really concerned about is the perpetuation of this apparent myth that once kids get into secondary school, they don't want their parents on the school ground. I suspect that the reason why we're allowing that to be perpetuated is because it's an easy solution for both schools and for parents if they don't want to do it. But my wife and I have still got, thankfully, 5 children. They were used to us being in school when they were in primary school, and I never had any of them turn an eye when Lewis and I were on the school grounds in secondary school. And I know the parents who have had that experience. And I wonder if kids are used to their parents only being at primary school when they're in trouble, then maybe yes, they will get concerned when they see them walking on the secondary campus. But I really think we need to stand up and hold that to account and say, okay, this is what you say, but where's the hard evidence?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
No, excellent.
Hi, I'm Jess. I work for a low SES school in Perth, Western Australia. One of my questions was, is there any research about special needs schools? Because it just seems that they seem to get it a bit better, or that's my impression from working in a range of different schools, but they just seem to do the parent engagement a bit stronger. Is there any information about research or so forth about special needs schools with parent engagement?
I'm sure there is. I'm ignorant of it, but I want to hear what you mean by they do it better.
When I was, in my experiences in Perth, so I don't know how it compares to other systems, but parents just seem to feel more comfortable coming in. They engage them in a range of different conversations around learning, which translates to independent living skills particularly, but also, behaviour management, social emotional wellbeing, occupation, health, and so forth. That, the culture there just seems to be a bit different, where the parents want to come in, the kids are, really happy in that school, but they do things like communication books on a daily basis, and they've just got a wide range of strategies where they partner with parents. And I was just curious as to whether or not anyone could fit into that.
I hope that the folks who in this room may know the answer to that question will find you and give you that answer, because I don't have that answer. I'm not going to give that answer. Okay.
Thank you. Mary Machado, Youth Connect. I work with the Parents as Career Transition Support Facilitator training and run the workshops for parents. Just for your information, we do have a small research report on our Youth Connect table based on the PACTS work that we did last year with parents, and it was the parents' responses as they finished the workshops. And just for the sort of work that I do, one of the main responses I get from parents immediately is a sense of relief and relaxation about the whole topic. And I don't know how you measure that, it's very long term, but I reckon if you've got relaxed parents, then they're going to go home and have a relaxed conversation with their young person, and that's got to have some flow on, just in the whole kind of topic. And in terms of, parental involvement in schools, some of the research that the Brotherhood of St Lawrence did that kicked this whole program off was that 80% of young people want or need support from parents at home. So it doesn't mean that parents need to be necessarily at the school, but they need that communication through and with the school and the partnership so that they can support the young person at home in that relaxed and informed setting where a lot of learning takes place. Thanks. So more of a comment.
Hi, Diane Jackson. I'm the CEO of the Australian Research Alliance for Children and Youth. I just wanted to respond to the lady's question about why schools that are working with children with disabilities might be doing some of this work the way they are. Early intervention happens from the word go with very young children with disabilities, and it's based on family-centred practice. So there is a wealth of evidence to look at around those sorts of strategies and how we might actually learn along the continuum of the journey through education with that. And I think that also goes to some of the points that have been made so far about it seeming in some rural communities, I think we were talking before, it seems seamless. And it's seamless because it started very early on in the piece and it flows through, and so you're not learning something new when they walk through the door of primary school or through the door of high school. It started a long time before. So I guess if you want to look for an evidence base around family-centred practice, is a huge one, and there's a lot to be learned from that.
Cherie, I'm a secondary school teacher, but I wanted to respond to what Ian was saying as well. One of the things that we're noticing is that because so many primary schools are involved in parent engagement, as secondary schools we have to step up, because the parents are coming to us with the expectation that this is the involvement they have with their children, and we have to acknowledge that we may need to do it differently, but we have to do it.
Yeah, my sort of sarcastic comment about kids and parental involvement was not to suggest that secondary schools are off the hook, but was more to say that it's a different work. And I also do believe that it's just, part of the team in doing that work is going to be teachers. And how teachers engage in that work will look different from a secondary perspective than from a primary perspective. Just simply from the ways that people define their professional competence. Okay.
Hi, I'm Amanda, a parent in the ACT. How long is your study going to go for? Because my curious part is, we brought all the work into the primary schools. These children and these parents travelling to the secondary schools. Is that going to change, that result? And part of it is not necessarily working inside your child's classroom, It's working inside of the school, and that's probably the biggest change I would believe would be needed in a secondary school.
I mean, the short answer about the research is there are a small number of research questions that I'm going to continue to pursue for a long time. But this parent reaching out grants study, which will encompass the secondary level, because site committees are at the high school level too. That'll be done at the end of the year.
We have time for one more question. Yes? I can't see you, Sharon. Where are you? Young lady?
Oh, sorry.
I feel like we're at an auction.
What's being sold?
Andrew McKenzie from Catholic Education in Cairns. I noticed your slide from Ontario had a number of Catholic school boards. Is there any research or any interest in terms of the difference between, say, the public school sector, Catholic schools, non-government schools? Are there any particular insights that you've noticed in that area?
That's a good question. There's next to, I mean, there's a growing independent school sector, but it's a very small percentage, it's less than 10%. I mean, if you're thinking about common modal experience of folks in Ontario, you look to think about that. In terms of the Catholic boards, I mean, I do have students who come from the Catholic boards and study precisely this question. So, for example, the Ontario Leadership Framework, which is a framework similar to what our colleague said earlier about shaping and assessing principal skills and abilities and redesigning the organization and supporting people and curriculum and all of that. For the Catholic school system has a sort of Catholic education piece and component to it for principals. There's little, I mean, it's interesting because on the one hand in Ontario, with the existence of the separate Catholic board, you would think that Ontarians would be comfortable with the idea of culturally specific approaches to multiple kinds of parental engagement activities. And that's not the case. In fact, when things like Afrocentric perspectives or First Nations or Aboriginal perspectives get piloted, they are faced with a great deal of skepticism and opposition. So Ontario is a strange situation for trying to sort that through. I did have a doctoral student who studied whether there were particularly sort of faith-based or Catholic approaches to parental engagement, and his finding was nothing that diverged too much from the literature that did emphasize the faith-based approach.